PRSA International Conference in Indianapolis. I'm Deirdre Breckenridge, and I'm here with Shonali Burke, who is the CEO of Shonali Burke Consulting. Hi, Shonali. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Hey, everyone.
So there's so much talk about measurement and the C-suite and making sure that public relations is showing value. So what can PR do to show measurement value as opposed to some of the tactical outputs?
I love that question because I think for PR to show value, there's actually two parts to this equation, right? PR is a critical business function.
I love that.
So, one, I think PR professionals need to stop thinking of themselves as tacticians and, we're going to send out press releases, or we're going to set up a Facebook Live, or we're going to do all of these great, cool, tactical things that can be a lot of fun. Sometimes they can be a total pain, but if they're not thought of strategically, then you don't know how to really assess their impact or effectiveness. So one, I think PR pros really need to get out of the tactical mindset and really remember that they are business professionals who are very good at organizational and interpersonal communications. So I think that's number one. And then on the flip side, I think the C-suite and other business executives need to remember the same thing. So you don't just call your PR team in when you need a press release sent out, but it's when you're really looking at your organization's objectives and the KPIs that you are using to track your performance, and remember the business problem that you're trying to solve and how does communication play into that. So I think it's two parts of that.
It's
issue.
Definitely the two parts, and all of the tactics, they have to help support that strategy that you're going to build. And we know that the C-suite is thinking about the health of the brand, and they need PR to optimize the marketing, and the public relations today, we're accountable. We're helping with leads and sales, but that is a strategy. There's no doubt about it. So as you as a consulting person, somebody who's been in PR and measurement for a long time, what does a PR professional have to do or think about, or even the questions that you ask in order to put a good measurement strategy in place?
There are a few, and I learned some of these like literally, on the ground when I worked for the ASPCA out of New York, and that's 10 years ago at this point. I just started when I was 12, but and I remember, I was brought into this amazing organization and told to do PR, and you're like, well, I have puppies and kittens, so it can't be that bad, right?
That's the best kind of people who want to do PR for puppies and kittens.
Right. I'm just, where's the puppy? Bring on the puppy. But it's a massive organization, and as I was trying to wrap my head around it, I noticed that in the strategic plan, the stated goal for communications was to be the top reference source for the media on animal welfare in 5 years within the United States. And I like how specific that is because it has a time frame, it's got a very defined audience that you're talking about, geography is defined. And so I asked the question, well, if we want to be number one in 5 years, where are we now? And nobody could answer that question. Because I just thought that was common sense. How can I get to be number one in 5 years? Maybe I'm number one now, maybe I'm number 100 now. How do I know?
Exactly.
So, I think really looking at what does the business need to do, and then how can we help solve that problem is number one. And so then number two, what feeds into that is, why are we doing anything? Does it really help support what the business's objectives are? Can we tie it back, even if it's not a straight line, even if we can kind of find a dotted line or zigzag, this leads to this, leads to this, leads to this, there's some kind of correlation. That doesn't always have to be causation, but as long as there's some kind of correlation. So that's number two. And then I think the best question any of us can ask is, how does this help the business make money? How do we help generate revenue? And that's the question I asked at the A. When they said PR, and I was thinking about all of this, and I went to development, and I said, hey, how can PR help? And so first I got, well, get us on Oprah, and get us here, and get us there. And I was like, okay, well, that's all very well and good. I mean, again, puppies and kittens, shouldn't be that hard. But then when I rephrased the question as to, well, how can PR help you make money? It was a total game changer. And then they gave me very specific KPIs to track to, and then that's what we started tying our work to.
Oh, okay, so that is a great example. And You know, when I think about the past, and even 10 years ago, the work that you were doing, the work that I was doing, so many things have changed. Public relations certainly has evolved, which means we know the media has evolved, which measurement has evolved. So what do you think are some of the biggest changes that we're seeing, and how can we navigate them?
So, I mean, clearly technology, right,
Yes.
is what is allowing us to even do this. And that has changed the playing field so dramatically. It is incredible. And I think the biggest thing that we've experienced is the ability to connect one-to-one, one-to-many, many-to-one, many-to-many in ways that we just couldn't before. And so with that, we have an opportunity to really break down silos, which is historically what people complain about. Oh, you know, we're siloed and nobody talks to the left hand, doesn't talk to the right hand, and blah, blah, blah. But then there's also great fear of technology, and there's a fear of adoption. There's a fear of, oh my God, you know, I can't control the message anymore. Hello, you never controlled the message. Let me just tell you.
We never did.
You
There
never.
was a water cooler at some point. You couldn't control the message.
Yeah, you could create your messaging, you could put all of that in place, which you still need to do. You need to have smart messaging, you need to know your proof points. When I teach my students at Hopkins, I drill this into them, and people on my course as well. But then once you've created it, and once you're in your communications workflow, you cannot control what people are going to say about you. You never could. But the huge opportunity now is that you can actually pick up on it. You can listen to it. You can learn from how people are experiencing your brand, your products, what you're doing. And that's an amazing goldmine of information. And I think that's really kind of the treasure chest that people need to open and dig into.
Oh, yes, definitely. You mentioned the silos, so let's kind of talk about that a little bit. It has always been, we're here, they're there, we're in our silo. We are branching out. There's no doubt about it. We talk about the blurring lines all of the time. So is it more of the challenge for the public relations professional to embrace other areas and to collaborate and work together, whether it's, you know, talking the measurement strategy and how we need other data, or even in our programs and some of the things that we're doing? Or is it the other areas that are saying, we don't need this thing. We know where PR used to belong or where it should be, and just calling us in as needed. Where is the pushback?
I think it's on both, quite frankly, because I think, again, and it stems from a lack of understanding and fear and territorialism. You know, this is mine. Don't eat my pie, because then what will I have left to eat? and I think again, if you're in that tactical mindset, then you want to protect your tactics. Nobody else can do this. Nobody else can Facebook Live. Nobody else can write a press release. Well, I have news for you. Pretty much everybody in the business world knows how to write. They might not all be good writers, but they know how to write. It's not that hard to write a press release, right? So I think when you start to get out of the mindset of this is a tactic, and no, this is a strategic initiative.
You're together.
And you're working on this together in an integrated fashion to support the business or the organization. When I say business, I include nonprofits, because nonprofits, associations, they have to keep the lights on too. So it's really when you can get out of that mindset of, oh, this is my little piece of the pie, let me go and hit into my hole and eat it with, you know, Jack Horner's spoon, and you can get out of that and just say, oh no, we're in this together. How can we do this together?
Right, because at the end of the day, your customer or client or consumer, they're not saying, who sent me this? Or was it marketing? Was it PR? Or did I have a great experience because of my salesperson? No, it's the company, the brand. So of course we all have to work together for the best experience.
Do I have time to give you an example that just happened here? Okay, so this was really fun, and Deidre, you know a little bit of the story. So I came here from Louisville, where I was speaking at Digital Crossroads, thanks to our friend Jason Falls. And I really needed to get my hair done. I needed a blow dry.
It looks lovely. It's really good.
But for the life of me, between me and some of my friends who were trying to get me a blow dry, not a single salon could book me. Like, they were all booked. And I was like, what's going on in Indianapolis? Like, you know, hello? Anyway, so I was really, really irritated because, you know, hair is very important. So
yes, it is.
once I got into the Marriott and checked into my room, I had a lovely view, and I was like, oh, this is great. Even though we're at the conference most of the time, it's nice to have a room with a view.
Oh, it's a beautiful view.
Yeah, so I took a picture, tweeted it, tagged the Marriott. They immediately said, hey, happy you're here, let us know if we can help you with anything. So I said, well, as a matter of fact, I couldn't book a blow dry anywhere. Might you be able to hook a girl up? And they replied, this is all from the corporate handle, mind you, on Twitter, and said, sure, we can have our concierge help you with that if you like. And I replied on Twitter saying, yes, please. Thank you so much, because I had an event to go to, as you know. It must not have been 2 minutes. Mind you, all of this is Twitter. But in less than 2 minutes, my hotel room phone rings. And it's the concierge saying, Ms. Burke, I believe you'd like a blow dry. And I was like, oh my God, I love you. Can I marry you? And I was like, yes, please. And she got me into Evan and Todd, which is at the Conrad, not far from here. They did a great job. So now Evan and Todd is getting a lot of publicity, and of course the Marriott is getting a lot of love from me because they took the time to listen. But here's what's also really interesting is that they didn't think about, well, this is a hotel service issue. This is PR. This is whatever. When I talked to Michelle Klein, who handles the Twitter handle for the Marriott, she said, she monitors and saw this coming through, and they were on high alert, her words, because of the conference, speakers, influencers.
Sure.
And she said, well, you kind of fit into both those categories, but they're listening to everyone. And then she called the hotel and the front desk and said, can you look her up? And because I had checked in under my real name and it was linked to my Marriott rewards, etc., they found me. Hence the phone call in the hotel room, which was, I was a little bit relieved. But it just shows how that's customer service, but it's happening from social media.
Exactly.
Amazing integration. And then yesterday when we were in our session and the Starbucks over here had closed at 1 o'clock, it's like, seriously, there's a PR conference with almost 3,000 pros from around the world, plus another 1,500 students. There's no Starbucks, coffee closes at 1 o'clock. What's wrong? Are you trying to have mass harakiri or something going on? And I tweeted about it because everyone was a little riled up. Then I go back to my room and there's an envelope with my name on it and a gift card from the Marriott saying for complimentary coffee, saying this is on us. We hope you'll give us another shot. I mean, where do you think I'm going to be staying from now on? The JW Marriott, baby.
That's right. And I know PR was behind that too.
Yes,
it all came together so
exactly.
nicely. Well, that was an awesome example. What, with everything that's changing, and even that example shows big changes in how we all work together or how we need to work together, especially with social media and customer service. What are some good resources? How do we keep up with all of this? Where do we go?
Well, since you ask, so as you know, Deirdre, and as you said, we've both been doing this a long time, and this whole integration of social and PR is something that's really fascinated me and has just drawn me for the last several years. So last year, I actually created my own online course based on everything that I'd seen, all of the pain I went through trying to figure out this stuff, including measurement, and the questions that I keep getting from students and from professionals. And so I created what I call the Social PR Virtuoso Master Course, and it's a 4-module online course, which is great because you can log in, it's self-paced, it's lifetime access, it's a one-time fee, lifetime access, and you log in, you do your modules, you can ask questions, we have a private community, we have monthly group calls. So one, I would love for people to check that out, it's just at socialprvirtuoso.com. And I also have a smaller version, like kind of your intro to the course, as what I call my 7C Social PR Blueprint for Success.
Gotta have a blueprint.
Which is a download, it's an ebook, it kind of walks you through my framework of what I call the 7 C's of social PR, right. And that's at shonaliburke.com/get-blueprint. So those are 2, one is free and one is obviously not, but you can check out whatever you want. But the third, which I love, is your resource, Deirdre. I mean, your books are always brilliant.
Thank
and you've written so many of them, and they're readable, So many business books are crap, but yours are not. They're so well written, and they're great to read. So I love your latest book, and I love your PR hybrid model that you've put together, the honeycomb model, so you guys should totally check it out. It's pureperformancecom with 2 M's.
Yes.
.com. Pureperformancecom with 2 M's.com.
Well, thank you. So with everything that we've said, let's just take a pulse.
Yeah.
I'll take your pulse on this. How comfortable do you think PR professionals are feeling right about now with technology, data, and all the changes?
I think they are very uncomfortable. Very, very uncomfortable. It's like somebody's lighting a fire underneath the chair. And you know, I can understand it because it's exhausting. On the one hand, you do want to stay informed of the tactics and the platforms, and you know, who knew that Facebook Live was going to be a thing, or who knew that Bebo was going to come back? Yesterday when I talked about it, people were like, what? That's like Greek to me, but Bebo from 2005 has resurfaced in 2016. So things are changing all the time, and that's hard. It's hard to keep up with that, which is why you want to go for the resources that can help you understand. But you know what? I don't think it's good to get too comfortable, because I think when you get too comfortable, you stop learning, you get complacent, and you stop growing. And as long as you're working, quite frankly, as long as you're alive, I think, you want to have your brain ticking, which means you really can't get comfortable.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Maybe being uncomfortable is a really good place to be in. Shonali, thank you so much for sharing all your insights, and it was a really good chat.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, our pleasure.